is about time.
Okay, so his attributes are eternal and infinite, if that's what we want. Yeah.
Well, that's what I want. I'm just wondering if you believe that. So what does infinite mean in that?
Like I said, it depends in what context you're talking. So, for example, if you're talking about his attributes, they're absolute and eternal.
Absolute and eternal.
Yeah. So his attributes are eternal and absolute. Yes.
And infinite.
I think it
without
fits,
boundary.
Yeah, I think there's no boundary.
Without boundary.
Yes.
So where does this reality fit into an infinite space? Because it sounds like your argument would be there'd be a boundary around, because I believe you don't believe.
Eternal. I didn't say they're finite. They're infinite. Means they are not finite.
Yes.
And they are not bound by time and space.
Yeah. Okay.
And they are eternal and they are absolute. Yeah.
And you also believe that Allah is not in this world.
Allah is beyond. Yeah. So even before this world was there,
so he's locked
Allah
out.
existed. Say again?
He's locked out of this world.
What do you mean locked out?
If place doesn't apply to him, how can you say locked out?
Well, because you're saying that he's infinite and everywhere except here.
We never use the word everywhere. Everywhere.
When you say he's not here, so Allah says in the Quran that he is closer to you than your jugular vein. What does it imply?
You said he was.
Yeah, which means whatever is temporal, it's something that is beyond that. Yes? And he is able by his knowledge to know everything that's in this world. So just because he's not fixed to a time and space, which is not, he transcends time and space, that means even before this world existed, he existed. So before he created anything...
You're not answering my point though, is that, that if you think of...
I think you're thinking in terms of time and space.
No, that's what I told him. You can rephrase
your job
question.
In a way is to explain my confusion, right? Really, isn't it?
Yeah, but your worldview is different from what we are telling you about God.
This is philosophy, isn't it, in a way? So it's in the same way. So those principles have to be understood, and in the same way as you will speak to Christians and say, well, how does that work? And they say, well, I don't know, why the Trinity is Trinity, whatever. You want more than that. You want either scriptural proof. Well, I'm not looking for a scriptural proof because I'm not Christian or Muslim. But what I am looking at,
even for a philosophical argument. Okay, so what is your understanding of God? So let's start with that. No. Because I think what you're doing is you're coming from your understanding of God and you're trying to juxtapose that on Islam.
No.
I'm telling you in Islam.
I'm asking you this,
go on.
which is if you have God, which is before all other causes, and God then causes creation, where does that creation reside?
So the creation is part of the time and space, which is also creation of Allah.
Is also creation.
Yes.
And but Allah is separate to that creation.
Allah is not part of the creation, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah. So if there was only Allah,
yes,
as there was
at one time,
at one time. In fact, before space-time.
Yeah, before the creation,
Before the creation, and then Allah creates a creation. Outside of Allah, but Allah is absolute. He can't create something outside.
Yeah, but when Allah creates the creation, why would you say this is inside Allah?
Well, I'm saying the opposite. Is how does He make it outside?
I just want to make a point. When you say outside of Allah, you already impose space.
Exactly. Yeah.
But we are saying when Allah is there.
I just want you to explain.
When Allah is there,
He transcends space and time.
No, I know that.
So what we're saying?
But He's created space and time.
Exactly.
So where does that space and time go?
It's still there.
See, my argument.
It's still there.
My argument is that actually this is all part of.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. It's like you're saying. So he's already thinking of a plane. Let's say this is space.
Yeah.
And Allah is existing somewhere in the corner there.
No.
And then he has to create.
No.
That's what I was trying to tell him.
The opposite.
So where is Allah before the creation?
Okay,
according to your understanding of Islam, where do you think Allah is?
Allah is just is.
Exactly, without space and time, right?
Where?
So when He creates something, yes, He creates space. Do you understand? He creates space.
Where does He create that?
Like I said, space itself is a where. That is the where.
But
the space itself is the where.
Just are.
Who is the only are?
If there is one.
One what?
Everything.
No. That's your worldview. That's your worldview.
No. One power.
No. If there's only one, there's one Allah.
Okay. You name.
If there's one Allah, He's able to create space. That answers your question about where.
Does he create?
Wait.
No,
Oh, sorry, what's your name? I forgot your name.
John.
John.
It does.
It does. Okay, so what is space to you then? Tell me. What do you understand by space?
Well, no, you're asking me.
I'm asking you a very valid question. What is space?
I'm asking the question.
No, but you need to understand what I'm saying.
How does Allah, who is everything?
No. We don't say everything.
Okay, all power.
Yes.
All power.
Absolute power, yeah.
Absolute attribute. What are the attributes of Allah?
99 of them. You want me to list them all?
The main
is first, he's a creator.
Yep.
Yes. He's Ar-Rahman. Ar-Rahim means the merciful, the most gracious. Yes. He's someone who's
more about his size, his power.
Yeah, he's a summit. That means he's eternal and he's not dependent on anyone.
Absolutely.
Okay, he's one, obviously. He's oneness.
Yeah.
So these are
Oneness.
he's unlike any of his creation.
Oneness.
He's unlike any of his creation. As well.
So he's oneness.
Unique oneness.
Unique oneness.
The word ahad in Arabic
There can
language.
be nothing before he created. There can be nothing else but Allah.
Yeah. So Allah is
of his
uncreated.
attributes.
He's the uncreated, uncaused.
Yeah. We got that bit. We got the uncreated.
So which bit you don't get?
What I'm asking about is that the state of Allah is there is just Allah, being Allah, God.
Yes, he's independent of the creation.
Independent of the creation.
Yes.
And then in that beingness, he creates the universe, the world, whatever.
No, not in his beingness.
No.
By his power as a
Outside
creator.
of his beingness.
Yeah. Apart from his being. Apart from his being, he creates space.
Yeah.
And in that space, he creates his creation.
So
I can't get any more clear than that.
No, but in the infinite Allah, to create something in the same argument as contingent.
But Allah, I told you.
This is the Cosmological argument regarding infinite and eternal. How does? I mean, look, you might ask me questions to try and explain it, but actually, I'm asking you the how to explain it, which would be helpful. For
You believe the only explanations and answers? It's not only answers. Questions also have.
I think I've been more than clear. I think.
No. But
I said he created the creation outside himself.
outside, how did he do that?
Well, by his power of creation. So to create, by his power to create.
No. Creation.
He's Al-Khaliq, which means he's able to create.
Creating isn't the issue that I've got.
What is the issue
It's
then?
not the creating.
I think it's a space.
Creating it outside of
Yeah,
himself.
so for you the issue is a space, right? Am I right?
Outside of himself.
John, the issue for you is space. Am I right?
It's
The space itself is a creation of Allah.
yeah. No, it's not the space that
I think it is a space in your case.
Okay.
That is what you're trying to comprehend, because you're saying if Allah is the only being, yes, where did he create space? Am I right?
Create himself. I'll tell you how.
Am I right?
So say
like your
you've
own-
got a swimming pool of water,
Yeah.
and that is no longer a swimming pool, as in having the walls, the floor, or the surface. It's infinite. It's an infinite amount of water. Yeah.
Then it's not a swimming pool.
No, I know. I've
Very bad
expanded
analogy.
topologically
Okay.
into infinity.
Okay,
yeah?
infinite swimming pool.
Infinite water.
Okay, infinite water,
Substance,
yeah. And?
Water.
Yeah.
So, and say the different kind of thing that this water is God. Where does this and has the power and attributes of God? Where does that God make a space for space?
You see what I mean?
Where a question of space?
No, wait. Did I not say his problem was space?
Yeah.
Location, not space.
But you're not using semantics. It's just semantics.
No, not bothering. Come on.
Okay, can you show me any location that wait. Show me any location that's not space. Go on, John.
What's that?
Show me any location that's not space.
A location that's not space. I
Yes.
don't understand the question.
Which means you're using semantics. So every location is a space, and every space has a location in it.
No. So okay, it's not semantics. I'll tell you why I distinguish a difference. It's
Okay, define location.
Yes, location is an indices of where something is. Space could be anywhere. It's not location.
Can a location exist without space?
But that's not what
That is exactly what he's saying.
I'm saying. No. These are totally.
John, your main issue is space. I've already figured that out.
Location of it. Okay.
Whether you use the term location or space,
Well, I
because
just use location.
no, but
You're okay with
when you say location, a location is a particular space. A particular space.
particular.
Is that more better understanding?
Yeah,
Okay, explanation. So for example, if I put in my GPS a particular postcode, it takes me to a particular location.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? But if I just said on street, I don't know.
Maybe to a space.
Yeah, say street Prince of Wales or something like that. Then it'll take me to the street, but not a particular location on the street. You see what I mean?
No.
Yes. Now there is a specific location, and there is a more general space. Which one is the issue with regards to God creating?
For me,
Yeah.
it's about where outside of his infinite beingness, where he would locate a creation.
Anywhere, he can choose.
Anywhere.
Yes, it can be. If God wishes to create something, He can place it anywhere in the general space
I think,
that
I
is
think, I
created.
think he's assuming. I think you're assuming
Yeah.
that God A is a physical entity.
I'm not.
B, there is something that you can comprehend his essence.
I'm not.
For in order for you to say that God is infinite in essence, what essence do you mean? It's not a physical essence for he to create. God is like a big physical essence. That's what you're assuming. I think is
Yeah, I
a
think
physical
so.
infinite essence.
I think he's
And then
coming-
going to create no space to create anything. This is what you're
So he's coming from the pantheistic worldview,
Oh, yeah.
which means it occupies all space. Am I right?
Yeah, I know.
So you're coming from that worldview. We are saying that all that space itself is a creation.
Yeah.
I've made it very clear from the very beginning.
I understand what you're saying. That's not so the point I'm trying to make. We're not meeting at.
I think I am, but your worldview, because you're asking a question from a worldview of pantheism, which means
I think
everything that
That's
exists.
kind of by the by, actually.
No, it is
No,
because
it's by the by.
no, it's called a priori. You're coming from a presupposition, and this presupposition of
I'm starting
yours.
with the a priori argument of God's attributes being infinite, eternal, and when before creating there is only God.
can I ask you-
wait, there is only God.
Sure.
Right?
Let me
You might be able to answer this, but I think I don't want to. I don't mind losing an argument or.
It's not about
losing
losing,
an
it's trying to
I
understand it.
do think it's. I do feel like it's an important thing to be clear about, if possible. Maybe it's not possible, but the point I'm saying is that you've got God being an infinite, eternal, having all these all-powerful attributes, and then you're saying that God creates, and I'm not questioning the creation. What I'm saying is that this, and maybe this is a way of arguing it. You can create within His eternalness, or He can create outside of His eternalness. And what I'm asking is, how does He create? Because if He creates outside of His eternalness, He is no longer eternal. He is bound by the thing that He's
Okay.
created.
Is-
So if you put a
understand.
if you put a ball in the swimming pool or the infinite water, now the water isn't in the ball.
I
There is
see.
a boundary.
Yeah, it's again space.
And then there's a
Again about space,
boundary.
yeah.
Okay.
There's a boundary around that
Is-
ball, which
Is
God
in
isn't
is in and out a question of
You're
space?
blocking
Yes or no?
the camera.
I look.
Yeah.
These
It is,
are
it
an
is.
argument to do yes or no. Is it in or out?
Yeah.
Because
I-
these
No,
could
no,
be
you're
argu-
saying he could
I
in
think-
itself
I would
or
rather you
outside.
explain this.
I think, John, what you understand by infinite God
Yeah.
is that He occupies all space, all location. Hear me out.
being, yeah.
All location out there, all space out there. Is that what you're trying to?
No, there is.
What do you understand by infinite God? What do you understand by it? Because I said His attributes are infinite, if you remember correctly. Yes?
Yeah.
So for example, God is all loving. That means the ability for Him to love is so absolute that we cannot comprehend. Yes? His love is not the love that we as human beings, all of His creation possess. So if you put all the love of all the things out there, yes? And if you place His love, it is like His love will be 99% compared to the 1% of the creation. You see what I mean? So when you talk about infinite attributes,
Sorry, could you repeat that last?
like 99% would be the value of love of God, and 1% would be the value of the
Are you
love.
saying that's the case, or are you saying that's not?
I think there's a hadith there, isn't it? A similar hadith about the amount of love that Allah shows or Allah has.
The mercy.
Yeah, the mercy of Allah. Mercy, love, like they are similar.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
You're moving all these words together today. But anyway, carry on.
Yeah.
mercy,
So
whatever.
the mercy of Allah basically supersedes that of this creation, even if
100
by 99%.
by 99.
Yeah. So is a ratio of 99 to 1.
Yeah.
Is that more clear?
Okay.
Okay, good. So that's what I'm saying. When it says his mercy, one of His attributes, yes, is infinite, then we understand it in this sense. But what you're saying is that
Can I just clarify
Yeah,
that?
sure,
then?
go on.
See, what you're saying is that there is infinite mercy. He creates a creation, and 1/100th of the mercy that He had is now in the creation. Is that what?
no, not 100.
199.
So let's say 1%.
Well, it's not
One-
just 100th is 1%.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So let's make it
okay.
easier.
Yeah,
1% is in the creation,
Yeah.
and 99% is what He possesses.
yes.
And the hadith actually says that He retains this mercy for the day of judgment.
the mercy that's in the creation.
No, the mercy that is with him, the 99%.
The 99%.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying.
It's not infinite mercy that he's got now.
Well, infinite in the sense this 99% is just an analogy.
It's just a figure of speech. You know,
it's an analogy. You know, I'm not putting a value to it.
Well, yeah, you are.
Well, it's an analogy.
It's a ratio. It's not an analogy. An analogy is something very different.
Okay, what do you understand by percent?
No, well,
you see what I mean? It's not exact.
No. It's a ratio. If you're saying that there's 100th here and Allah has got the other 99, that's not an analogy. That's a ratio.
Yeah, it's a ratio.
Now the amount of mercy that's in this creation is hard to define. But what we do
that is 1%. We know that.
Yeah, but what we do know from the ratio is that that's 99.
Yes, 99%.
99 more.
What it shows is basically this was an analogy given in the hadith. No, in the hadith is given as an analogy to show. I'm telling you, it's to show the amount of mercy that Allah has retained for the Day of Judgment. So if you divide the mercy of Allah into 100 parts, yes, we know that the humans and even the animals, yes, or the creation of Allah, like the other creations, they possess some form of mercy. So a human, a mother showing mercy to her child is also from Allah. Yes, so this is bestowed on the creation, but He has retained for Himself the 99, the biggest, what do you say, percentage of it.
I think this is exactly supporting my argument. But go ahead.
Okay, anyway, but this is to show you that when we talk about His attributes being infinite, being absolute, being eternal, yes, is to show you that these are attributes, the 99 attributes which Allah has informed us already about. But it doesn't say anywhere in the Quran or in the Hadith that when we speak about Allah being infinite, that He's someone who had occupied all space and everything that Allah created is within that space or within Allah Himself. I think which is your main contention. Am I right? Is that your contention, right?
It's one of my contentions.
Well, that's I think the main one.
The other contention then that comes from this 99% to 1%.
Yeah.
What about power?
Power is a different attribute.
Okay, but how much does the
I don't think it tells us.
There's
no hadith. So we can only tell you what we have been informed. Nothing more than that.
So effectively, what you're saying, and do correct me if I'm wrong, is that Allah has 100% of mercy, and He puts 1% into His creation.
Yes.
And then, but He is not. That even though that's His attribute, He is not.
Oh no, He hasn't given His attribute to the. You know, there are certain things like there's another hadith which says Allah created man in His image. Yes, which means many people say that this is the image. Some of them say that this is the image means Adam was created not from a child who was born of his mother and then he grew up. He had a particular, form in which he was created, because he wasn't born like a normal child is born from a mother's womb, which he has to grow up, get bigger, and then So, but some others say that this is because certain of human characteristics are seen in Allah, like His love, His mercy, but the degree of love and mercy in Allah is different to that of the human beings. But anyway, I think the first view is more correct in terms of Adam's own image.
But that's
okay. So answering your question with regards to his attributes, so there are attributes that the human possesses, yes, but there are also, they might use the same name. For example, mercy, yes. So Ar-Rahman means the most merciful. This is an attribute only for Allah. But a man and a woman can also be Rahman in the sense that they are merciful as well to their children, maybe to their parents. Yes. However, the degree of the two is different. Yes?
Yeah, but what I'm saying, and the argument within, say, a pantheistic way, is that that's cohesive, that this universe or anything outside of anything that can be imagined or is the sum total of everything, and it's infinite, and it's all powerful in itself. But what you're saying...
When you say it, are you taking it as something as a sentient?
Well, I would see it as a conscious sentient consciousness, yeah.
You think this entire universe has some form of consciousness?
That it is consciousness, I think that's
Where's the evidence for that?
Well, that's another argument.
I don't know. That's what I would like to know.
The issue, in a way, that I still don't get is that you've got somebody like Allah, or the Quranic understanding of Allah is that He's got infinite mercy, mercy, but actually now he's just got 99.
No. You misunderstood what I meant. Allah did not give His own attribute to the people.
So why has he only got 99 now?
That is just to show you the analogy of the amount of mercy Allah has reserved for the creation versus His.
Reserved, exactly. That's exactly.
But that's not His attribute. The mercy given to the creation is not His attribute.
No, but now
His
he's only
attribute.
got 99%.
Look, the hadith says that Allah created 100 mercies.
What?
Allah created 100 mercies
100 mercies.
and He gave one of them to the creation. So now maybe that resolves
Oh,
the
so
misconception
mercy
that you
is
have.
the creation, not an attribute of Allah.
He created 100 mercies.
So that's what we're saying.
Can I finish what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
sure, go for it.
Okay, Allah created 100 mercy.
Yeah.
Mercy is something not to be measured. Mercy is not a physical thing that you say this is 1% of mercy, 2% of mercy. This is an analogy.
100,
This is an analogy.
It's an
of
analogy,
Prophet
that's why I told him,
Muhammad
yeah.
Given to us that Allah created 100 mercies. He placed one of these mercies in the creation that we use to be merciful with each other, and that mercy will be also back in the day of judgment with the other 100 mercies. So Allah is showing us His mercy in the day of judgment. He's not saying from my mercy
Exactly. He did
I have
not
100
share His
mercies,
attribute with
and
the
I give you one of my 100 mercies.
So
this is- I think this is what you understand.
Firstly, you said it wasn't to be counted, but you gave 100 of them. But the issue,
I said
the issue,
the attribute of Allah, not
Yeah,
the ones
no,
He
no.
created. You're confusing both.
So you're saying that He's got the infinite mercy,
Yeah.
and then He made another 100 mercies.
Allah created 100 mercies. What is mercy?
100
Mercy is
parts,
not
100 parts of mercy.
100 parts of mercy.
So there are only 100 parts of mercy.
For the creation.
The problem is if you don't allow me to say what I'm saying, obviously you will not understand what I'm saying. You tell me, answer my question, but when I speak, you interrupt me every 2 seconds, right? So what I'm saying is this: Allah's attributes of mercy is not the 100 parts of mercy that He created. What is mercy?
Let me
Mercy
bring
is
up
not a
the hadith,
physical
it will be better.
thing. You cannot yourself, bring the hadith, it's better. You
Yeah.
cannot yourself say that a mercy is a physical, tangible thing that you take a part of or you give. So Allah created 100 mercy. Why is this 100 mercies? I don't know. We don't know. It's not a physical thing. And then Allah gave, I'll finish now. And then Allah gave the creation one of these 100 mercies that they use to be merciful with each other. So it's not His attribute. That's why I said it's not to be counted. Go ahead.
So what you're saying is that the mercy that, and this is why I was interrupting you, because I'm just trying to make it a bit more concise, is that are you saying that Allah has infinite mercy and then on top of that made 100 mercies?
This 100 mercies He made, He did not make for Himself.
I didn't say that. I'm asking you step by step.
Oh yeah,
Did
Allah
He
has
make-
infinite mercy. Allah created 100 parts of mercies. He gave one
Yeah.
to the creation that
Yeah.
we're using to
And
be
where's the
merciful
other
with each other.
99?
The other 99 are still reserved.
He's reserved.
Reserved.
Oh, here it is.
Why would He need to reserve it?
Read it
Okay,
from-
here it is. In Sahih Muslim, it is narrated from Abu Hurairah radiallahu anh that the Prophet ﷺ said, Allah has 100 parts of mercy, of which He sent down one between the jinn, mankind, the animals and the insects, by means of which they are compassionate and merciful to one another, and by means of which wild animals are kind to their offspring. And Allah has kept back 99 parts of mercy with which to be merciful to His slaves on the day of resurrection. This is in Muslim Al-Tawbah, I think that's a chapter 6908.
Okay, so my understanding of that surah is that hadith is that He didn't create 100 parts of mercy. He endowed this creation with one part of 100.
Yes, He has 100 parts of mercy.
But He didn't create them. He endowed. He has 100 parts. He endowed the creation with one, and the other 99 are for judgment day.
But one thing you need to understand is that He did not give His
That's
own.
in contradiction to what you said.
No, it's not, because I think it's just the way he was explaining it. The main point I think Muhammad wanted to make here is that His own attribute of mercy He did not give to the creation. Is that clear?
I don't think it's clear from that.
Well, it is basically. If you see, I think there's another hadith as well.
Allah is. I think it's. What did it actually say? Allah is 100.
Yeah.
parts
So
of
what this hadith means, based on the scholars, is that Allah is more merciful than His creation. That's the main emphasis on this hadith, and that's the reason He says the wild animals are merciful to His offspring as well.
That's by the by when it comes
Yeah,
to the
but anyway, that's a key point. So going back to the question which you asked about if Allah is infinite, where did He create? Wasn't that your question? Your original question.
Issue, yeah.
Yeah. So your main contention, I believe, is to do with the space, because what you're imagining is when you say God is infinite, you're imagining that He should occupy all space.
Am I right?
Not space.
Location, when you call it location?
Just be Allah. Just be one.
Yeah, so where is Allah? If I ask you the question, based on the Islamic perspective, I don't know what your understanding is, where is Allah?
Allah is just Allah.
No, where? I asked you where
There is no location.
On the Islamic.
Well, how do you know there's no location?
Well, I don't know. No.
Okay, so that's what you need to first clarify. Because
You can
the
clarify
answer,
to me. I'm asking you to clarify to me.
I think I've already mentioned this several times, that Allah transcends space and time.
Yeah.
Yes? So you cannot say Allah is in the east or in the west or in the south or north. Yes? In the Quran also Allah, when He says, when He ascended on the throne, yes? What is it? Istawa al-arsh. Yes, this is also a particular direction, but in that sense as well, it is not the direction that we think like east, west, south, north. It just shows somewhere
I
up.
just want to
I
read
don't
the hadith in
conceptualize
Arabic
it
as
like
well.
that. I don't
So
conceptualize
the
it
hadith,
like
the
that
hadith
at all.
says in Arabic, جعل الله الرحمة مئة جزءا. Allah made mercy 100 parts. Which mercy is that?
I don't know.
Okay. So you're imposing that this is the mercy of Allah. The hadith doesn't say Allah made His mercy
Exactly.
100 parts. That was my point.
Not His attribute.
So I can answer that
Okay,
point.
okay, I'll finish the hadith. Okay? The hadith says that Allah made mercy itself 100 parts. He held 99 and He sent on earth one. From that one, the creation is merciful to each other.
Yeah.
That is what the hadith says.
Yeah.
Right. So the hadith doesn't say that Allah made His mercy 100 parts, then He sent down one of His mercy to the creation, and He kept 99.
It
That
didn't
was
say
my
he made,
point.
No. He didn't. In the one that Hashim
This
read.
is the Arabic. I don't know what the
Hashim
translation.
read.
Maybe I think the Arabic is more accurate than
That's why I went to the
translations.
Arabic. That's why I went to the
Step by
Arabic.
step. In the one that Hashim read, it's like God mercy was 100 parts.
No, it's the same but translated from this. It's the same reference.
Sure.
So
that's why I'm giving you
that might be a
your
better
translation.
translation. Could be. That might be.
No, it's okay, 100%.
But it's
Look, it says
translation. Your translation.
I can translate.
Maybe the one I read
That's
wasn't
the
very
one
good translation.
that
Maybe his is
I can
better.
translate.
Muhammad Ali's translations. I can't really go by.
I'm an native Arabic speaker. So I can translate to you what Barbod now.
No, you can't.
You don't. You're
Why
not
can't
looking for
you?
that. That means you don't want that.
No.
Why can't he?
Because I
Look.
trust.
Okay.
No. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Actually, translation is always very difficult, as you've had lots of discussions.
Sure, that's why I don't need it. I
Exactly.
speak the native language.
Well, even if
You speak Arabic?
No, even when I'm speaking English to someone who's also a native English speaker, they're going to have different interpretations of certain words.
Like location and space.
I'm not putting interpretation at all.
But what we can do is that we've got one in Hashim's own reference, and that's why I have to go with that today.
Why?
Oh, because it's not mine. Because it's not mine. I know.
He does agree with it.
You know, earlier you said.
So you're saying Hashim, so you're saying it does agree with it?
Earlier,
It does agree with it.
well, if you want to believe that,
If
that's
I
fine.
want
But we want to establish the truth, and none of the scholars, from what I know, is that believe that any of the attributes of Allah can be given to
creation.
a human, to any of the creation.
Definitely, yeah.
And this is something which
of
is
the attributes.
none of the attributes of Allah. So Allah's attributes are only with Him. Okay, it's not. It cannot be shared
Even
with the
this
creation.
mercy was-
Yes, everything. His attribute are unique and only applies to Allah
Even
Himself.
in
no one else.
Hashim's hadith, it doesn't say Allah made His mercy 100 parts. So still, it doesn't agree with your narrative.
No, look, you have to
Does it say His mercy?
I think we probably go around in circles.
Yeah,
But I think as long as you understand the main crux of the matter, that the mercy of Allah supersedes everyone.
No, but that's not the main crux of my argument.
The main crux of the hadith, I'm saying.
No, for instance.
The main crux of the hadith.
Okay, another issue
Yes.
is this.
But before you go down to the issue, I want to ask you a
No, it's
question.
the same theme, but it's the same
Okay,
theme,
go
so
on.
it's not
Because I want to ask you on your belief.
Sure.
A particular
I'm
question,
happy
which is
to
quite
do-
important.
I'm happy for that. That's
Okay,
no
good.
problem. But the same with Allah is all powerful. Yeah.
Yeah, what about it?
But there's the power of my iPhone, the power of the sun.
Yeah.
So
creation
he
has its
doesn't- So he's created from infinite power. He's additionally created power in the creation.
No, what you're doing is, once again, you're not differentiating between the creator and the creation. So all the attributes apply only to the creator, Allah only. Okay? Whenever Allah gives power to His creation, or even the soul, the spirit that we have is a creation of Allah. No, I gave it away. Yeah. So what I'm saying is that everything that the humans possess as their characteristics, they're all created. Everything, the mercy, the love, even things like the ability of power, yes, the will itself to do good and evil, all this is creation of Allah.
Yeah.
Yes, everything that the creation possesses as its characteristics are all because of Allah. But none of it is of Allah. Do you see the difference between the creator and the creation?
Well, that's I think that's what you're saying, but what I'm arguing...
When Allah creates power for the creation, then it's meant for the creation. It is not meant to be applied to Allah Himself.
In the same way, as you've got the Kalam cosmological argument,
Yeah, what about it?
it kind of argues around the kind of the contingency of things that follow.
Because the Kalam cosmological argument is quite simple. Anything that begins to exist, yes, must have a cause. In a simple one-line definition of the Kalam cosmological argument is that Allah did not begin to exist, but the creation began to exist. And that's the reason I'm saying it has a cause, and that cause is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and His ability and His power to create is what created all this.
But what was the way that the Kalam cosmological argument argued that?
About contingency, it's contingency. So Allah is not contingent.
And infinite, and that if things were infinite, they wouldn't get to the point of it can't be infinite.
No, that's the infinite regression you're talking about. That's again different. That's what people who say that who created Allah. Yes, because Allah is the uncreated. Yes, He's the first cause and the uncreated being. That means that it doesn't apply. The infinite regression doesn't apply to Him. Yes, because if everything had a creator, yes, then you would never have a creator or the creation. If you understand infinite regression.
Because of infinite regression.
Exactly.
So because of infinity and that kind of aspect of absoluteness.
No, but the infinite regression that shows the fallacy of applying. Does everything should have a creation? So should have a creator? Should have a cause? There has to be a point where this cause stops, and it's no longer dependent or contingent on anyone else. So He is now necessary.
But the
necessary being.
What's the argument as to why that has to happen?
It's like you need to have a necessary. Cause to bring everything else into existence, and this necessary cause is Allah.
And then it couldn't.
Everything else is contingent.
And it couldn't just go infinitely.
No, it couldn't, because then you would have the infinite regression fallacy.
Exactly, and that's why I'm using that same fallacy argument as that if you have an absolute being of Allah, that He can't.
He can't what?
He can't make something outside of Himself and put a boundary around Himself, around this universe, this world, that then He is not in. And my argument would be the opposing argument is that He is absolutely, or God is absolutely everywhere in everything.
Yeah, but that's what you're doing. You're trying to juxtapose your worldview. Yeah, you are, because you're a pantheist. So you're saying you're saying that everything is God. Is right?
Yeah.